And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Transport Fever. Making some money now. Finally, we were able to make some money and start this process of expansion here. We've got pretty much all the lines set up except for the south here. We got 2 more lines that we need to set up coming south. So this south line, I mean, we're kind of hooked into a huge residential area here and a huge industrial commercial area here. So we're kind of mixed bagging it here. So I think over on this side, we're going to want, it's a tough call. It's a really tough call because I'll eventually be able to hook these 2 cities up together. So both lines are going to be on this side, and it's kind of eliminates our choice of which side we want to cater to. So we're going to try to sneak it as close to this commercial as we can. I'm going to put it on pause. That way the city doesn't start growing little spurs in here before I get done. So let's go for a passenger station. We're going to do a terminal station. We're going to do a high speed. We're going to have 4 tracks. And we're going to try to sneak it right in here as best we can. Even so far as to try to match it up. Try not to destroy too many buildings in the process. But match it up right along that line. We should be good on that front. A little bit of industrial taking out is not too bad. But as long as we can hook that up, we're good because we want to connect to everything there. And this one as well. We want to make sure that connects up. So this one here, we can go straight out with it. No point in messing about with that. We want as much space as we can for future growth. Okay, that can come out just a little bit more and be right on track with that. Well, maybe right here is a perfect spot. Right there looks pretty good. I will kind of hope that the city builds that out as best as it can. But I don't want to build too much out here because I don't know where the rail is going to swing in here because we got to send in a rail line. So let's finish this city off really quick. I'm going to just square off these as best as we can here. That way the city will be able to fill itself in and we'll have some squared off areas of decent road to use. Maybe for future bus lines, I don't know. Still haven't had our first bus in the game yet. I do want to do some bus lines, but for now we're just going to keep it steady. All right, now we want to connect this up to, let's see, which one do we want to connect to? I think we've been kind of keeping with the middle ground here. So I'm going to go the middle ground, maybe one, have two lanes coming up here. So that's a nice curve going on that side. So let's handle this. And this is going to give us access to a whole bunch of residential. We're going to do the same sort of setup. Swing this around. And we're going to not worry too much about destroying some buildings. That's going to be okay in this early stage. But I want mostly this road to line up with that. I don't really mind this road kind of getting in the way here. So we're going to try to match that up as best we can. It's like so. And then connect this road. And then connect this one out as far as we want. And we can connect all these roads up together and hope the city fills itself in. Now these ones here are probably going to need some bus lines to kind of encourage growth. But bus lines should be pretty good. And once the cities start growing, we'll know where the roads where it wants the roads. There's no point in fighting the road system out here. So we're gonna try again building this one out, and then kind of building it out a little bit further on this side too. Okay, so the rail. Let's get the rail hooked up. We're gonna punch through part of the city here, and that's okay. It will forgive us eventually. So this one too, we're gonna bind it right in there. Where are we colliding? I think we're colliding, yeah, with this little spur of a road here. So I'm actually gonna take out that whole section to get this going. So let's take this out and merge it right in like that. 3 buildings will be removed. That's okay. Now the last part of this, I want to send out lines on each one of these to prevent too much cross, prevent the city from kind of growing over those areas. We're running into that problem on our other lines, so we want to mitigate that as much as possible. And we can do that by sending these spurs out and hoping that the city doesn't build it. So like, let's get a good example. Like right in here, we've got a lot of lines available, but for some reason I didn't put the spurs out. And these are the spurs that are going to eventually, supply the city with the materials. So I want to get these out. It's kind of expensive because we're running into some really nice fancy houses here. So that's kind of an expensive system, but doing it now is a little cheaper than doing it when it's too late. So same over here is all of these 2 buildings. Unfortunately, the city will recover. I mean, I have faith that the city will recover. It won't even take very long for the city to build itself back. But this will prevent buildings from overriding our track and give us a little bit of leeway when growing these cities out. So this one will probably run into a little bit of commercial on this line here. Yeah. So a little bit of destruction will be okay. In these 2 sides of the track, I do want to join these together. And I think we're going to do it right here. We can cross all those tracks and join them up. Can't do it there, but we can do it here. So we're going to do it right there. Join these 2 halves up. That way a little bit more movement can be had. And I want to see if we can also do it on this side without too much absolute destruction. I wish I didn't have to take that house out, but we have to do it. We have to do it. So now both sides are connected. It should be good. Let's see. Some of these other areas need the same sort of attention. We're going to bring these out. And we're going to bring these out. I'm adding a little curve to them, because inevitably these are going to be curved up to whatever supply lines that we're going to be able to get out of this. So, tools, food, machines, those are going to be coming in from way outside. So that's why I put a gentle curve on there. I think, we got one more on the main trunk here. I'm going to just sort of, again, put a gentle curve on these ones. And these ones, who knows where the stuff is going to come in at, or how this is going to be set up. But if we count all the products, if you look at, one of these food, one of these construction material, one of these will be tools and machines, and one of these can be goods. And I think that rounds out. Yeah, tools, machines, construction material, food, goods. Fuel is the only odd man out, and it can share one with maybe construction material or something like that. So I'm not too worried about that. This one's already got some spurs except for the northern tracks, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty confident that we're going to do, like, we're going to use these 4 quadrants around the main structure here. These 4 quadrants are going to be our primary producers. So one will be food, one will be tools and machines, one will be goods, and one will be maybe fuel. So tools, machines, food, goods, construction material, and again, fuel is sort of the odd man out. So I'm not sure about how we're going to handle that. Okay, now these brand new cities, these are going to grow like crazy. So we're going to first this line. Let's connect these up right away. As we're doing this, this is a good time to connect these up. So this top line here will be this top one. That will be the connection between the cities. Nice arc between the two. And this middle one, who knows what this one will go to eventually. And this south one, I'm not sure. I could use the south one here to connect to these areas, because we're going to add another terminal in here that's going to go to the northern area. Not ready to do that just yet. This is going to be pretty expensive to run this anyway, because we've got, first of all, this line to change, and we have a whole new train to buy, and these trains are not cheap. So let's spin this around. Okay, so the next thing is taking this line, southwest commuter, and it goes south, but we want to add Gastonard on here. And then we're going to re-add south. So that's going back and forth between those two. So this is already in place. And now we just need the other line. So this line will go from here to here, way out to here, and then back to here. Okay, so this will be the southeast commuter. Oh, I didn't use a dash in the other one, so I might as well keep with that setting. Okay, so now we have the southeast commuter, and we can go ahead and buy a train for that. And that was blue, which I am fine with. I didn't change the color because I'm okay with the blue. We're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep the same type of train. And try to go a pretty decent size train. And we're going to do southeast commuter. So we're going to head that off. And here he comes. So that will, in essence, connect this city up with another city, which will help this one grow bigger. And it will also connect our hub up to another city, which should help industrial grow a little bit bigger. Still not sure how I want to handle the bus system in here. These are all so close together that it's hard. It would be hard for me to really figure out how we're going to handle it. And why did you slow down? You slowed way down for some reason. Or was that just... That must have been this train arriving. I don't know if you slow down, because these shouldn't share track. These are independent tracks. So they are good to go. And now we have a good train coming in here. Probably not... Yeah, nobody's real waiting for it yet. But that's okay. And Bituminous Bear has already started reacting to... Oh, to the growth here, to the connection. So we want to encourage said bear in continuing that activity. Unfortunately, this is gonna kind of line up. We're gonna want to spread that out like that. It's going to be a little wonky in here, but the way these are set up, I'd really have to obliterate a lot of it just to get it going. Over here, we're going to connect that up. Try to normalize the city a little bit. This one's kind of at a weird angle with how the terrain generation actually put it together. But we want to encourage more growth. As much growth as we can around this station. So we don't want it to shy away from building connections, because it has a pretty good catchment area. And we'll most likely be feeding goods and stuff into these cities from the north on this side. And if we have to come in the south, we're going to have to come in the south. That's okay. Okay, so how is Gastronaut reacting? Okay, we've got one that I could upgrade there. Everything else is pretty quiet. Any passengers over here yet? Oh, we've got little Spurs developing here and there. That's good. A little bit of redevelopment going on. That's also good. And we can connect these two just like we did on the other side. I'm going to take a couple of these away, and we're going to try to connect this one all the way over to this one. So, is that happy? I think it is. Go right into these two cities. Now we've got a couple different cities hooked up, and I think if we want to grow these outside cities faster, we're going to need to add a train to these, which means lines and all that, and might as well work on the north-south connections on these secondary lines, because we got a nice big industrial sector here that we could connect down to this residential area down here. So a lot of growth potential between these two. A lot of people potentially could move between those two areas. And I kind of want to get the passenger service set up and running before I set up any industries. That way I know where all my train lines are, and I'll be able to bridge over or tunnel under as needed. And that way it won't be like spaghetti track just running all over the place. Because that's not very efficient when we're trying to maximize the production of something. So our hub city has responded very, very well in its growth. We are, looks like pretty linear straight up as we connect all of these cities together. And we've got, look at that, we've got no buses, and we have 40% of the population using at least one of our lines. That is pretty incredible without any buses at all. That is unheard of on that. I didn't think that was possible to get that high without any buses at all. That's a lot of people using our lines. These are probably going to be a much lower because they don't cover the entire city. I mean, you can see all of the bright colors are pretty concentrated around these things here, around the stations. So yeah, I'm hoping this residential area really blossoms, because we could use the extra people to move. Finish up all these roads, get these all upgraded. That city has really built out well. A lot of growth and development. So with this southern line on these sort of diagonal coordinates, we can not only connect down to here, but we can also swing one over and connect a second line here. Because the point is not just the hub city, but I want I want at least 4 cities that are very large, so we can shovel or push materials into. So a 4 to 5 city area that we can push thousands of materials into is what we're going for here. And as soon as we have, see, we have 2 trains on these lines right now. I could probably add a third. Probably. That's going to be iffy. But we got plenty of people. I mean, 240 people waiting, and there's only 120. So there's going to be another train's worth of people waiting over there. And interestingly enough, there's not as many people waiting in our hub as is waiting on the outside. So that's interesting. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. And I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.